about a month later, now this is where it gets to where I wanted to beat her ass, and I still do if I ever seen her, but I shouldn't say that. Hi everyone, Ann here, and today we have a story time. The time that I wanted to fight this YouTuber that I thought was my so-called friend who did me real dirty, and it got real messy. So if that is something that you're interested into, to find out what happened, then keep on watching. All right, so I don't know where to begin. First, let me just tell you, hi, my name is Ann. I have a main channel called Just Ann where I do subscription boxes, mystery boxes, unboxing. That is more beauty related. If that is something that you're interested in, I will link that. Well, I don't know what that is. I will link that down below. I just had to play around with this chair for about 5 minutes. I thought it got higher, but it doesn't. Anyway, I digress. If you did come from that channel and you're over here, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And in this channel, I get real personal. So my first video, I did a Q&A that I got a little juicy. I'll leave that video down below if you haven't checked that video out yet. But what I plan on doing is story times, vlogging, cooking with my children, things like that. So if that is something that you're interested in, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. But you are here for the story time. And I am procrastinating because I don't even know where to begin. We might be here for an hour. So grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's get started. All right, so I am not going to mention this YouTuber's name, and so let's think of a name we can call her. How about Karen? Karen is the right name for this. So in the video, I will be calling her Karen. All right. So like I said, she is a YouTuber, and I was watching her content, and she made a video, a pretty sad video, and so I reached out to her. I don't want to say what her video is about because I don't want to give any hints to who this person is. And there is also one because I don't want to send her any hate, and another one you'll understand later on in the video. So I reached out to her. Well, actually, I left a comment and I was like, hey, you know, why don't you get a hold of me? This is my email. And so she did. After a day or so, she did reach out to me through email, which I was very happy to, her reaching out to me. And we started talking. And we started talking about YouTube. And at that time, I didn't edit. I didn't even know how to edit. So we came up with like a little thing. I was like, well, you know, I'll help you out a little bit on YouTube. And she says, all right, I'll show you how to edit. And it was kind of like that. But so she did. She taught me the very basics on how to edit, how to bring in a video, how to do things. And I, to this day, am very grateful for that because I wouldn't have known I wouldn't have known what to do now, what I know with editing, if that makes any kind of sense. I'm very nervous, can you tell? If it wasn't for her showing me the basics. So like I said, I'm very appreciative to that. So then we started talking on the phone and we started getting really close. She was telling me a little bit about her background. I was telling her about mine. I had told her that I was recovering drug addict. Well, I was an alcoholic. I chose alcohol first. That was my choice of drug. And then it went to other things. And, you know, just about how I grew up. You know, she kind of had the same background and we really clicked and I really started to like her. And so we would talk and I would say, you're going to put a video up? And she'd say, yeah, I'm putting a video up. You put one up. And like I said, it was just about YouTube. I had a couple other friends on YouTube and the same, you know, we just talked about that, you know, about our views, you know, things like that, you know, how we can grow, all that type of stuff, you know, the normal stuff that YouTubers talk about. So as we became friends, and this is going on about a month into our friendship, you know, I started learning how to edit a little bit more. And I would tell her, hey, guess what? Did you know that you can do this, you know? And I noticed that she had a little attitude when I would learn a little bit more on how to edit. And I thought, okay, well, that's weird. Well, maybe she just had a bad day. I don't know. And if we would get, we kind of did the same type of videos. And so I do want to say that because then you'll understand. And so let's just say we put out the same video, and if my views did better, I had more subscribers than her, so my views would have been better. I noticed her attitude started to change the longer that we became friends. In the very beginning, she was very appreciative, you know, and then, like I said, like little attitudes, and she would get upset if I put a video up before she did, because she would always say to me, but Ann, you're going to get more views. Let me put my video up first. Because one thing about YouTube, if it comes with subscription boxes, makeup, if you're doing a review, a new release, anything like that, whoever puts their video up first tends to get more views, right? It's the truth, because they want to see either what's in a box or a makeup release. You know, if they decide they want to get it, that's just how it is. And I thought that was strange. And so in the very beginning, I did that once for her. I was like, all right, we both did 2 of the same videos. And I said, all right, well, which one are you putting up first? Because I'll put the other one up first. I did that so that I could try to help her out. Like I said, I really started to like her. This was about a month into our relationship. But then she thought that it was going to be like that every month. And I was like, no, no. Because I have a family. This is my job. This is my source of income. You know, it doesn't matter if I get more views than or whatever. I mean, it's stupid anyway. You'll understand. I noticed she became very competitive. There's the word, competitive. And I thought that was strange. But, you know, I would tell her, like, look, you know, it's no competition, you know, it's just there's enough people to view our channel. There's that damn fly. There's enough people to view. It doesn't have to be a competition, you know, it doesn't matter. And she would say, but you would get more views anyway. And I'm like, yeah, but that's what I do. I put up videos almost every day. If I get something that I want to put up, I'm not going to wait for anybody, because I'm not going to take away from my family. It's not because I want to be sneaky and try to get more views than you. It's because this is my channel and this is what I do, if that makes sense. Well, then I noticed she was asking different companies how many boxes I sold, you know, because I do get stuff in PR, and so does this person. And I thought, well, that's strange. Why is she worrying about how many boxes I'm selling? Because let's be real, the brands can even tell you, I don't even care. Like I told her before, when I get these boxes, I am for you guys. I don't care about the brands. I'm going to be honest. In other words, like, if I like the box, I like it, and I'm going to tell you about it. If I don't like a box or a makeup product, I'm not going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to have you waste your money for a company. Do you know what I mean? But if I think that it's good, I do want to help them if I do think it's good. But you know what I mean? I'm not going to say I like something just for the company. You guys are my first priority. And that's what I told her. I tell the companies that as well, you know. I always say I'm going to give an honest review. So you can either choose to send it to me or not, you know. So like I said, I thought that was strange, because I have never asked any company, well, how many products did I sell? Or how many boxes did I sell? Because I really don't care, you know, unless it's something that I'm getting paid, getting money out of. That's not going to make me do a different review. What it is I can go on my own account and find out how many boxes I sell. That's what I mean, you know. And I asked her about that, and I go, why are you asking companies how many things I'm selling? And she goes, this is what she said, and I should have known right from there to let it go. And she says, well, because, you know, you have more subscribers, and, you know, it would make me feel good if I can sell just as many boxes as you. And I thought to myself, it's not a competition. She was making this a competition. And I should have known when it came to the editing thing. But I'm the type of person, I don't know anything about technology. So I didn't know where to start with editing. But once I knew the basics, I will stay up all night long. I will watch tutorials. I really will, until I figure out how to do something. But I got to get to that point. You know what I mean? And so, because I'm not tech savvy, I was very excited. And so when I would learn something, I was like a little kid. I was like, guess what I learned? You know? So I was more excited. Not that I was trying to show off, if that makes sense. But anyway, so getting back to that. So I believed her. I thought, well, okay, you know, I don't know. It's kind of weird. But then we're going to go about another month or so, a couple months later. And this is when I knew something wasn't right, and we stopped talking for this time. So there's a box that I got. Well, I'm just going to say she does do boxes too, and she does makeup. She does a lot of things, but there was a particular unboxing that I was going to do. But if you don't know, I am diabetic. I've been diagnosed since the age of 18. I had diabetes now for almost, 25 years? I don't know the math. And I didn't always take care of myself when I was first learned I was diabetic. I mean, I was 18 years old, you know? So because of that, I also have other issues. I have cardiovascular disease. I also, my kidneys are messed up. Also my liver. And it's just from years of not taking care of yourself. And one thing with diabetes is when you're diabetic, once the damage is done to any organ, it's done. You can't fix it. You can prolong it, but you cannot fix it, okay? And that's why some people, they go blind, they're blind, you know? So vision is very important. And anywho, so I was having a lot of chest pains. I already knew I had stage 1 cardiovascular disease, so it worried me. And I don't really go to the hospital unless like I'm dying, right? And so I couldn't make videos for a couple days. I just wasn't feeling good. So I had an appointment to go to my heart doctor, and that was the day I went to my heart doctor. And he ordered a bunch of tests, but one of the tests that he ordered is to have a monitor on for 24 hours to see what was going on, ultrasounds, all that. But what he did for that day was put me on heart medication. Prior to that, I wasn't on any type of heart medication. And he says what this medicine will do is if you're having a heart attack, it will kind of like stop it. It wasn't like I was having a heart attack, but my heart rate, that's a whole nother story. Anyway, this will help me with my chest pains. So after I got out of the doctor's office, the first person I called was her, and I told her like what was going on, what the doctor says, you know, what he thinks, he just ordered me a bunch of tests and stuff like that. And so I was talking to her on the way to the pharmacy, and she was like, well, are you going to put this video up? And I'm like, no, I don't think so. I don't think I can record because I'm just not feeling good, you know? And that was it. So then I was waiting in line, and I was like, let me let you go. I'm going to get my medicine. I got to go home, cook dinner, all that type of stuff. So this was back way before COVID, okay? This was like over a year ago. And so I think this was like September of 2019. And so anyway, I take my medicine as soon as I got in the car because I already had water in there. I take my medicine. I go home. I start cooking dinner like something, I don't remember, like maybe spaghetti, something very easy. And I started feeling a little bit better. Not 100%, but I started to feel a little bit better. And my husband, he was like, well, you need to make a video. Go ahead and make a video and push it out. If you don't know, my husband is like very business, right? He's like right on you about that. Not that he like pressures me to do it, but he is one of those type of people. He tries to build you up, and he will try to, if your goal is to put videos out, he will try to help you get your videos out, something like that. And so I make my video. I put a little bit of makeup on, but nothing like this. And I noticed after my video, I start to feel a little shaky. Like once you first start taking medicine, sometimes your hands start shaking. And that's what happened. So I hardly edit it. And then I just put it up. And I went right to sleep. Like literally, I told my husband, I was like, I'm not feeling well. He was like, just go ahead and lay down. I just got into my pajamas. I did take my makeup off, and that was it. Went to bed. Well, probably about 3 o'clock that morning, because this was early. I probably went to sleep about 7:30. About 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and I was looking on my phone and seeing how the video was doing. And I get a text message, and it was just in capital letters, WTF. Like what the fuck? And I'm like, the hell's, I still don't get it. And then I look, see how my video's doing. I go to her channel because when I'm friends with somebody, I always love to, see how somebody's channel's doing. I love when it's doing well. That's just how I am. I'm like your number one cheerleader. Anybody that does YouTube that I'm friends with, they'll tell you, And then I got this email. I go to my emails. And I mean, when I tell you it was like a book, this girl cussed me out so bad and was like, I'm going to paraphrase. What the fuck? You were being sneaky. You told me you weren't going to put this video up, and you were being sneaky, and so that I wouldn't put my video up so you could put it up before mine. And I'm thinking, like, what the hell is she talking about? Like, straight up, what is she talking about? Like, that's not what happened. And so I write her back on an email, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And I told her the same story I told you guys, how I start to feel better, and she knew how my husband was, and I said, and then I wasn't feeling good, and I just went to bed, like, and I did say to her, I go, but I didn't think I had to tell you if I was putting a video out. I said, I don't have to tell my husband what I do. Like, that caught me off guard. Like, why do I have to tell you if I'm putting a video up? Like, there's no sneakiness. I am 44 years old. At the time I was 43. And so then she like writes me back, and she goes, oh, at least you could have been honest. And like, she just went off. And so I just told her, I was like, look, this isn't the friendship that I want. I already got weirded out when it came to the editing. I got weirded out when she was asking brands how many boxes I was selling. And then you're mad because you think I'm being sneaky when I tell you what happened. You still say it was just weird to me. And so I just told her, I can't be friends with somebody like that. I'm not into competition. I don't like competition, especially with friends. Never been like that. I think you should empower your friends. Women empower women. Do you know what I mean? And so that was that. Then I like blocked her on my phone. I blocked her on everything, because I didn't want to deal with her. I was so mad that, in other words, she was calling me a liar. It was the stupidest thing. But she had already put her video up. I guess she see my video went up, and like an hour or so later she puts that video up. Like, she had to hurry up and put it up. And my thing is, if you already had the video, why does it matter when I'm putting mine up? You should have had already put yours up anyway. But whatever. Well, about a month later, now this is where it gets to where I wanted to beat her ass, and I still do if I ever seen her. But I shouldn't say that. About a month later, so September, the last day of the month, September 30th, my daughter calls me. She was at her job and she was having chest pains. And anyway, make a long story short, those of you that are on my main channel, my daughter had to get open heart surgery, open heart and lung surgery. So I take her, I want to tell you this story a little bit so that you can understand. So when my daughter goes to the hospital, so I live in Cumberland County, okay, in the county that makes up 3 cities, Millville, Vineland, and Bridgeton. Well, they all 3 used to have hospitals, but Millville and Bridgeton shut down, and they're like senior citizen apartments, and you just have Vineland. Vineland is in Spear, and then Spear goes through a lot of, Jersey and stuff like that, like South, North Jersey. And I had to take my daughter to that hospital. Now, mind you, I'm telling you all this for a reason. So they do test on my daughter. Make a long story short, they found out she had a big blood clot. It's called a PE, pulmonary embolism, in her lung. So we were going to go to a level 1 hospital because that hospital in Vineland wasn't a level 1 hospital. And she was only 19, my daughter, at the time. So even though I wasn't speaking to her, I tried to get a hold of her, a couple of my friends, to let them know what was going on with my daughter. But I also wanted to give her respect before YouTube or the internet knew, that I wanted her to know first, because I thought, okay, we just got mad at each other regardless. But if it came to our kids, she would want to know, because even to this day, if something was wrong with her kids, I would, be very concerned for them, if that makes sense. So I couldn't get a hold of her. I get a hold of somebody else. And I was like, hey, if you speak to her, Karen, if you talk to Karen, can you let her know to get a hold of me? Well, so anyway, we finally go to the level 1 hospital. And that morning, just a few hours later, they did some ultrasounds on her heart, and they found 2 more blood clots. It was on the right ventricle. And what was happening was, she was in heart failure because the 2 blood clots was kind of moving on top of that big one, and she would have died, So they had to do emergency heart and lung surgery to get those blood clots off. They took 10 centimeters of blood clots. If I would have took her home at that one hospital, Vineland Hospital, I would have put her to bed and she wouldn't have woke up. You know what I mean? This is how serious it was. Well, my daughter, within 10 minutes, they had her in the OR. So I do a live stream because I am very spiritual, and my grandmother had just passed a few months prior to that. And I just kept thinking what she would always say, pray, pray, and get as many people as you can to pray. So what I do a live stream. And I'm asking everybody for prayers. Like, guys, pray. If you're not the praying type, then just send positive vibes. I still have that video on my main channel. Well, anyway, she gets a hold of me right after that live. I figure she's seen the live or whatever. And I'm telling her what's going on. And she acts all concerned. And she's like, do you need me to come down there? She lives in another state. I'm like, no, because there's really nothing that you can do, you know. So I said, I'll get in touch with you after the surgery. The surgery is about 3.5 hours. So anyway, after the surgery, I tell her, you know, everything's okay, good. She's recovering, stuff like that. And that's all. Well, I didn't speak to a lot of people because I'm dealing with my child, you know. But if somebody got a hold of me and text me, then I text them back. But I didn't say, okay, let me call Abadabs. Let me call Karen. Let me call my good Judy Lisa Smith. I wasn't thinking that. My mind was on my child. Do you know what I mean? But I guess she got upset because she was finding out I was letting other people know how my daughter was, but not her. I mean, listen, guys, as I'm saying this just seems like so crazy, doesn't it? It does. As I'm saying it, it's like unbelievable for two grown-ass women. But it's true. This is what happened. And now I'm still thinking we're friends, you know. So anyway, I go home after a couple days because I needed to take a shower and stuff. And I do make a video updating everybody how my daughter's doing. I'm up thanking everybody. There were so many people that reached out to me. Other YouTubers, Alexandra Ryan, just Hot Mess Mama MD, Yari G, so many people. Companies were reaching out to me, you know. And so I wanted to come on and thank everybody. But I didn't thank my main friends because I figured they would already know, and she was one of them. Karen was one of them. I didn't thank her personally on video, but I didn't think that bothered her because she knew that I was very grateful. Even though we didn't speak for that month, I was mad. I figured, well, she knows what's going on with my child, you know. Well, anyway, a few days later after that, here's where it comes. Okay? She texts me and she shows me this like thumbnail. Now, when I made that one video to update everybody, I was like, update on my daughter, prayers or something. I don't know exactly what it said. Somebody took that thumbnail and crossed out update on my daughter, crossed out the daughter part, put something else like scam, update on my scam, and was like all that, I mean, crazy stuff. And I was like, what? Because I was on my way home. I called her as soon as I walked in the door. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what is this? Like, I'm freaking out. So she shows me exactly where it was. It was on ColourPop's Facebook. Now, if anybody knows me, last year, I mean, I'm still not even on Facebook. I just basically found out, 2 months ago, how to do stories on Instagram. Like, I'm not tech savvy. Do you hear me? I am not tech savvy. So I was like, what do you mean? And I'm never on Facebook. So I'm like, what do you mean? Like, how do you get there? This person, Karen, showed me exactly how to go. She was like, go to ColourPop's website, hit this, hit post, hit newest post, and I'll be damned, there it was in the comment section. She even knew what post it was on. But I still didn't think anything of it. And I'm like, what? And I'm like crying. I'm so mad. And I'm like, I'm making a video right now because I was so angry. And she's talking me out of it. Like, no, Ann, don't make the video. It's only on Facebook. Not a lot of people will see this. Don't worry about it. And she talked me out of it. And I was like, all right, she calmed me down. But I was so upset because how can somebody say I'm lying about this? This is my child. And she's still not out of the clear. It was like, how dare somebody? And we're trying to figure out who did this. And I'm like, I don't have any problems with anybody, not YouTubers. I'm sure maybe there's YouTubers that don't like me. I mean, you know, not everybody likes you, but I never had an argument with somebody to go to that route. There's nobody in my personal life, no friends. There's not even subscribers I ever had it out with. No, I couldn't think of anybody that would do this. Hold on, I got to take a drink because I'm talking a lot. So my husband comes home from work and he's like, well, did you report it? I didn't know you could report it. I'm like, no, how do you report it? And he tells me. I say to Karen, why didn't you tell me that I could report it? She goes, oh, yeah. Well, I was like, did you report it? She goes, oh, yeah, I already reported it. Well, I tell a couple of my friends and they're like, do you think she did? I'm like, no, God, no. And Karen was like, so-and-so probably did it because she doesn't like you. I'm like, no. I said, and plus this is somebody that doesn't have any kids. Somebody that with kids would never do that. Would never do that. Anyway, let it go. I go back to my daughter that night, and because my daughter was having some of her friends there, so I figured I can go home, take a shower, you know. Anyway, I go back that night, and I was there for about an hour. Now, my daughter's name is Lexi. You guys know that, right? But that's not her real name. Lexi's for short. And also, my daughter doesn't have my married name or my maiden name. She has her father's last name. But on Instagram, my daughter also has a fake account because I guess she says she tries to find out these boys if they're talking to somebody else. I don't know. She was a teenager, 19. You know how that is. And so she was laying in the bed, and all of a sudden her face, she was on her phone, and I go, "What's wrong, baby?" And she goes, "Mom, look. Whoever made this thumbnail sent that thumbnail to everybody who followed me on Instagram." And one of them was my daughter, because I was trying to grow my Instagram. I'm like, follow me on your account, follow me on your fake account. You know what I mean? And the look on my daughter's face, and my daughter starts crying. Not like boo-hoo crying, but so upset. And I go, "Lexi, don't worry about it." And she was adamant to make a video to show everybody her scar, that my mom's not lying. I'm like, "Lexi, don't worry about it." But that was the icing on the cake. That right there, to see my daughter upset. Like, how dare you, whoever did this, you know, in my mind, you know? So the whole time I'm talking to Karen, like, "Oh my God, look at blah, blah," you know, all this stuff. And she's like, "Yeah, I can't believe it. Who would do that?" I'm like, "I have no idea. That's fucked up." So when my daughter comes home, my daughter kept saying, "Mommy, I want to thank everybody," because she was getting so many cards and wanted to update people. And I was like, you know, that's my perfect time to talk about this thumbnail. So my daughter and me, that video is still up on my main channel. My daughter is, you know, telling everybody thank you. She opened up a couple cards, you know, this and that. And then after she left, I brought up the thumbnail, and I'm like, you know, I'm not even going to like say anything about it. I'm just great, you know, like go off or anything, because I was very grateful. You know, my daughter's still here. You know what I mean? And you can see from the scar, I didn't have to explain anything. Well, as like everything going on with my daughter, a couple of my friends that are reaching out to me, who she spoke to as well, were starting to tell me little things like how Karen was denying and saying that what was happening with my daughter wasn't true, that I was exaggerating. Now, the whole time me and Karen were speaking, and she's acting all concerned. I actually seen text messages from Karen to a couple people how she don't like me. She stopped talking to me from that one episode with that video and all that. And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I spoke to her. She wanted to come down. What do you mean?" And I'm like seeing this thing, and I'm thinking, is this the bitch that did the thumbnail? Did she get mad because I didn't personally thank her on video? Would she make this thumbnail? No, she wouldn't do that. I would have took a bullet over that. I did not believe it. I would, no. And I'm still, when people are telling me and seeing I'm like, are these texts fake? Because like I couldn't wrap my head around it, because I didn't tell you this part, but one day we actually talked on the phone after what happened with my daughter, and we talked about everything about that box, and we just let it go. I thought we were starting over. I was giving her money. I mean, my God, a week prior to that, I gave her $150 after like I found out she was kicking my back in. And even when I told her that, I go, "You can keep it," you know, because she was struggling or whatever the case may be, you know? Even though I'm dealing with everything I'm dealing with my daughter, with how much it's costing me to go back and forth, and when my husband got out of work, he had to go back and forth, I'm still helping her because I thought she was my friend. Now, I can't prove that she made this thumbnail, but it's kind of strange that she was telling people the same thing that's on that thumbnail, like, hey, everything always happens on the holidays, and she scams to get PayPal money. When have I ever asked anybody to send me PayPal? Back in 2018, when my mom and grandmother's house was on fire, I had a PayPal up for 3 days, and that was that. When my daughter, happened to my daughter, people were sending me, I got a $30, a $50, and I think a $20 and a $10. And I made a video, and I said, "Please stop sending me PayPal money. If you want to help me," I said, "watch my videos. Watch my ads. That can help me. But it's around Christmas time. Please don't." I'm never about getting money. But even if I was, what is it her business? Why did she care so much about how many boxes I'm selling, who's sending me money on PayPal, how many views I'm getting. Why would she think I would wait on a video to put up so she could put up and get, like, it's so stupid. And let me just tell you something. The things that I seen in these text messages, I wanted to go to her state and beat the shit out of her. Let's just be real. Like I said, I cannot prove that she made that thumbnail, but even the way she talked when she says, use guys, or however she says it, everything made it seem like she did it, you know? But I can't prove it. This is allegedly. But after I seen that and thought, well, maybe she could have done it, and seen the things that she said about me, like actually seen it, I had to let her go. I was like, this is why I can't be friends with YouTubers. There's so many YouTubers that are so competitive, and I don't understand it. And the reason why I'm sharing this story, because in my Q&A, the first video I did, I'll leave it down below, I had mentioned that I should tell the story time, and a lot of you guys were, yeah, tell the story time. This is the reason why I'm doing that, so you guys can understand, because one of the questions were, are there competition between YouTubers? Are you friends with YouTubers? Let me just tell you something. That right there put a bad taste in my mouth. And there's still more to go about it, but we'll be here forever. It's already after 30 minutes. But I still cannot get over because it all started with I didn't thank her on a video. How immature is this? She also contacted brands on me, because these brands, 3 brands that I know of, contacted me and told me it was her. She had already contacted a brand and told them to send me my box late so she can get hers up first. The brand told me about this. So many things. And here I'm thinking we're friends. We're talking. You know? How messed up is that? Now, I could say her name. I can show proof. But why? Because karma is a bitch. Karma has no deadline. And I don't wish any ill will on her or her family. I still wish her the best. I still wish her much wealth and success and health, and her whole family, because I'm not that type of person. And it's a shame, because I was so upset, because I really liked this girl. I really liked Karen. She was my friend. And it made me cry, I'm not going to lie. That hurt me, you know? But I don't understand why people are like that. So because of that, I don't want to get close to anybody anymore. I can't trust people. And especially other YouTubers. I am friends with a couple, but I don't want to make new ones. Do you know what I mean? I don't understand the competition thing. Even if you don't do YouTube, just other females jealous over other females. I don't get it. I never understand it. But that is my story, how I wanted to beat a YouTuber's ass. And I'll tell you what, I better never see her. I'll tell you that. I mean, because I'm the type, you can talk about me all you want. You can kick my back in. You can do whatever you want. But don't you dare talk about my kid and lie on my kid. And then also say that I was exaggerating. And oh yeah, that's right. Because supposedly she was in the medical field. She actually told somebody that she called the hospital. Now, you know, New Jersey, and I'm sure a lot of states have this HIPAA law. New Jersey has a HIPAA law. They can't give you information anyway. But she called and talked to the doctor. And the doctor said, you know, that's not really what happened. And she also said that you can't get more blood clots in one spot at a time. Which, if you're in a medical field, you need to go back to school if you think that. But when do you ever know when you call a hospital that a doctor, you could talk to a doctor? No, you talk to the nurse's station and to the nurse. Even me, the mother, I couldn't talk to the doctor until I was there. And if they were doing their walk-arounds and I seen them. And because my daughter is 19 over the age of 18, she had to get permission anyway. So that was a lie. You know, I just don't get it. Like, she was trying to prove so much that I was lying, exaggerating. She also told the person that I called to get a hold of her so I could let her know, oh, she's just lying. She's just using that excuse so that she could talk to me. What? Do you think I cared that much about the relationship that I was going to lie on my child? I mean, come on. It's just so much. And you can tell I'm still upset and heated about it, because it's like, don't fuck with my child. Do you know what I mean? And that's everything, guys. I don't even know if I'm going to put this up because I wanted to talk about it, but I get so hyped up because it's like, I just want to, let me stop. You guys know when it comes to your kid, you're like mama lions, you know? I was going to do a get ready with me when I did the story time, but I knew that would not succeed. Anyway, I have a lot of story times I can do. This is one that gets me emotional. But I do have other ones. And if you guys want me to do like get readies with me as I'm doing the story times, let me know down below. COVID is starting, the numbers are spiking in New Jersey. So I don't think I'm going to be going to stores for a while or vlogging, but I can definitely cook some dinner and do stuff like that. But let me know down below what type of videos would you like to see. Let me know on your thoughts of this story time. Let me know, have you ever had friends like that was very competitive and jealous? Let me know down below. And that's everything, guys. Thank you so much for if you made it to the end. If you made it to the end, put in the word blueberry down in the comments. Let me know you made it to the end. All right, guys. Stay blessed. Stay healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Oh my God. Calm down, Ann. Take it down a notch. Take it down.